Hey, what's up? Welcome to today's mobility session. Thanks for sitting in today. Let's start by finding a nice comfy spot on your back, on your mat. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, sighing out that breath. Getting yourself in a nice, relaxed state of mind. Settling into a nice rhythm of breath that helps you find calm. Focus on directing that air in around that diaphragm. Those nice deep breaths. Feeling that belly rise in the inhale. And slowly letting it go in the exhale. And as you exhale air, imagine exhaling any tension or stress or anxiety. Just imagine it floating all away as you breathe out that air. Today's routine, we're focused on the hips and the neck. For your next exhale, take a targeted breath around those hips. Imagine those quads getting nice and soft. Your glutes deflating. Your hamstrings getting soft. And feel those hips just sink a little heavier into your mat. And on your next breath, imagine getting soft through those traps, through the sides of your neck, through the base of your skull, through your face. Just let it all go. Let's take one more breath here. Just sigh out that breath. And we'll start today's routine on the left lower trap. So we'll go face up on your lacrosse ball, just above your left shoulder blade, and around those traps. Just feel for something that feels tense today. Once you found a good target area, settle into the right angle, the right amount of pressure. Move your arm into a position you tend to struggle with. That happens to be overhead. And then settle back into your breath. As you let go of that air, imagine that trap just molding itself around that lacrosse ball, getting nice and soft. Mentally staying as calm and relaxed as you can. Generally, when we slow down that breath, it helps us slow down our body. That's going to allow us for better movement and allow that body to heal. We'll take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. We'll move to the right trap. Start by panning through that right side. If you found a good spot on the left, feel free to start around that same area. If you don't feel the same amount of tension or the same type of tension, feel free to keep searching until you find something that needs attention on this side. And then settle into the right amount of pressure. You can really juice this up by lifting the hips off the ground, add some extra pressure. Just always be conscious of how your body's responding. We don't want to go so intense with that pressure that other areas tense up, or we get into any kind of pain. Just settle into the pressure that feels right for today. And then again, moving your arm through positions you struggle with can be helpful, especially if it is overhead. And every chance we get, circle back to that rhythm of your breath. Concentrate on your breath. Take one more breath here. As you sigh it out, we'll move into some neck circles. So let's sit up. Start by bringing your chin to your chest, slowly dragging your chin along your chest to your shoulder, gently tilting your head back, bringing it all the way across to your opposite shoulder, back across your chest to start, and then we'll go back in the opposite direction. And we'll keep moving at your own pace, at your own level of intensity. Should be zero pain with this. We're just gently moving that neck along the outer limits of its range. And the intensity doesn't need to be any more aggressive than your body's ready for. Let's finish off this rep we're working on. And we'll shift gears into the left adductor. So let's sit upright. And we're just going to move our fingers and palm, maybe your fist, just using your hands along the inner thigh of that left leg, searching for areas that need attention. And your version of this may look similar or different to the video. This is all about settling into whatever version of this exercise is going to work best for you. Just search for what needs attention. Settle into the level of pressure that feels right today. This is a more active exercise if we're using the arms, the hands, but we still want to challenge ourselves to stay as passive as we can. Relaxing through your face, through your opposite leg, scanning through your body. Anything that feels tense that doesn't need to be, just breathe out that tension. Let it all go. Mentally keep your head clear. All that matters in your life right now is right here, right now. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath and we'll move to the right side. So let's start by panning through that right adductor, looking for what needs attention. It may or may not be tense in the same area as the left. Just search for what needs attention. Experiment with how we're addressing it. Whether you're using fingertips or your thumb or a fist. Maybe you're using a kettlebell. There's different ways to address it. All we want to do is find a version of this that allows us to get the response that we want for you. And that's going to take a little experimenting, because the ideal version of this for you may look very different than it does in the video or for other people doing this routine. This is about feeling out what your body needs, what you're going to benefit most from. So keep doing these mini experiments, feeling out what pressure feels right, what exact tissue needs attention. And the whole time remaining as calm as you can. We'll take one more breath here. Let's sigh out that breath. We'll grab that lacrosse ball and we'll take our attention to the left side TFL. So the TFL sits along the outside of the crease of your hip. So let's start in that general area. A small change in position on that lacrosse ball can make a big difference in how this feels. So start by doing a little search, look for what needs attention, and then concentrate on getting passive. Let's get passive through that target tissue, through any muscle we don't need right now. There are a few we need to stay active in the position and posture. And there's a lot of muscles that will sneak up on getting tense. So keep scanning through the body. If your face is tense, just let it go. If your traps are tense, just let them go. If your glutes are tense, let them go. Keep cycling through that checklist for any tight spots that may be troublesome for you. Try to consciously turn them off. Mentally go to your happy place and get as passive as we can in this position. Take one more breath here. As we sigh out that breath, we'll switch to the right side. So start by panning through this right side TFL. Again, a good reference here is the crease of the hip. It's going to sit right to the outside of that, in that area. And if you're not an anatomy person, don't worry about being on the exact muscle. Just focus on the area and what needs attention in the area. And once we're there, settle into the right amount of pressure. And then concentrate on your breath. Use that breath to calm your mind. Use your mind to calm that target tissue and the rest of the body. Settling into that right amount of pressure, that happy medium between where we're not getting a whole lot of effect and where we're going too intense and causing pain or unnecessary tension. This whole time staying as passive as we can, and your breath is a very powerful tool to use for that. Let's take one more breath here. We will sigh out that breath, and we'll transition into some lumbar traction. So there are a few ways to tackle lumbar traction. And if you know a version that works well for you, feel free to jump into that. For ease of accessibility, we're going to demonstrate a plyo box. And you can do this off the edge of a couch or a countertop. And if this is a new exercise, err on the side of going nice and easy. All we're feeling for here is a slight pressure separation between your upper and lower half. To give those discs a little bit more breathing room and open up space in those joints for better movement. And if we get any kind of pain here, just ease off on that tension. Settle into whatever level of pressure release your body's okay with today. I'll take one more breath here. And as we sigh out that breath, we'll transition back to your mat into a left side Fragan. So let's step that left leg forward into an extended lunge. Bring the hips forward and down, and kickstand that right leg towards your midline. And this is a hybrid stretch where we're hitting a little bit of groin, a little bit hip flexor, a little bit of external rotation. And there's a few different directions you can take this stretch, depending on where you lean your torso. You can lean your torso directly between your lead leg and your back leg to target that groin. If you lean a little more towards the front of your body, you'll hit more hip flexor. So just settle into whatever version of this is going to benefit you the most today. In a few seconds, we'll gently get active. Imagine squeezing the space between your knee and your lead heel. And let's go ahead, starting nice and easy. Activating through that groin to attempt to reverse the stretch, ramping up that tension as we go. Let's finish with a big squeeze here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Activate through those outer thighs, attempting to pull yourself deeper into that stretch, ramping up tension as we go. Let's finish with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax, get nice and passive. Submit to that stretch. Scan through your body, anything that's tight around your hips, that's carrying tension. Just attempt to breathe it out. Mentally go back to your happy place. Let your body go limp. Let's take one more breath here. We'll sigh out that breath, and we'll shift to the right side. So let's step that right leg forward into that extended lunge. Kickstand your left leg towards your midline. Settle into the version of this that's going to feel nice and give you benefit for today. Once we're there, settling back to your breath. Concentrate on getting passive. You may find dropping your torso helpful into getting passive down to your elbows. You may not. You may find it easier just extending your arms out, letting that chest drop towards the floor. Settle into whatever feels right for today. And in 10 seconds, we'll gently get active through that groin by attempting to reverse this stretch and attempting to squeeze those knees closer together. And let's go ahead, starting with nice easy tension. Slowly ramping up that tension as we go. Attempting to reverse that stretch. Let's finish with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Imagine trying to spread those legs further apart. Ramping up that tension as we go. Finishing with a big squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Get nice and passive. Relax into that stretch. Concentrate on your breath. Concentrate on getting passive throughout as much of your body as possible. Breathing out any tension, stress, or anxiety. Just let it go. One more breath. Let's sigh it out. Let's come back to tabletop into some left side hip circles. We'll start by pulling that knee into your chest, into full flexion. Slowly adducting that knee out to the side. Working it along the outer limits of your range. Finishing with a nice heel kick to the sky. An extension, and then starting from the top. And keep working your way through this at your own pace, at your own intensity. And challenge yourself to slightly nudge yourself a little further into your end range with each rep. Imagine trying to carve out new range at each position. You got about 15 seconds left. Let's give yourself a nice challenge here towards the end. Make those hips work to fight into new range. We'll finish off this rep. Sigh out your breath, and we'll switch to the right side. Start by pulling that right knee into your chest, slowly adducting that right knee out to the side. Challenging yourself to move it along the outer limits of your range as you move back into that full extension, kicking that heel up to the sky. And continuing at your own pace. Let's try to challenge yourself in those positions you tend to really struggle with. Spend a little extra time there, a little extra attention, working within your pain-free range to attempt to find and carve out new range and stability towards the outer limits of these hips. 15 seconds left. Let's finish with a good push, working towards those outer limits. Give it a good squeeze to finish off this last rep. And we'll come on back to tabletop. We'll sigh out that breath, and we'll call it a day. Thanks so much for joining us here on 5 Pillar Mobility. Hope you enjoyed the session. Hope your body's feeling nice after that routine. If you like the video, remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.